The ancient world of Big Era 3 was a time of great complexity and significance, but what do we really know about the lives of the ancients? In this documentary, we will visit the ancient civilizations of Egypt, China, and Sumer, and will delve deeply into the history of these states, revealing astonishing new findings which will lead us to revelations about the lives of these people, their relationships with the environment, other humans, and their ideas. This is the Societies of the Ancients. The ancient civilization of Sumer arose in the land of fertile soil between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers of southern Mesopotamia. The frequent flooding of these rivers deposited fertile silts, creating conditions ideal for ancient farming. It was here that the world's earliest civilization arose. The ancient culture of Sumer was a collection of independent city-states unified by a single culture. Now, Sumer was a collection of city-states that often fought against each other. Now, it was thought that a single god protected each of these cities and would do things like give them success in battle or good harvests. Now, priests and kings had the job of making sure these gods were happy. In fact, priests were the first kings of Sumer, but because of the wars, it became necessary for generals to be a king of Sumer so that they would do better in battle. Along with the reflections of key themes 3 and 7 in their government, ancient Sumer also boasted many technological and cultural achievements reflecting key theme 6. The Sumerians developed the first system of writing, known as cuneiform, which they used for record keeping and produced great works such as the Epic of Gilgamesh, the story of a legendary king.
The Sumerians did not write in cuneiform on paper as we do today, as many people were illiterate. Instead, they hired specially trained scribes to use stylus and inscribe the letter in tablet made of clay.
Not only did the Sumerians have an advanced and complex system of writing, they were also very skilled mathematicians, developing a system centered around the number 60, which is still in use in modern times in geometry, dividing circles into 360 degrees, or in time, dividing an hour into 60 minutes. The Sumerians also developed what we may now see as a very basic invention, the wheel, but one which has been very important throughout human history. Indeed, Sumer was a civilization of marvels, with complex science and social structures. She was a civilization fertile not only in soil, but in ideas. Egypt was a civilization that arose in another river valley, that of the Nile. Egyptian history is divided into 3 major parts: the Old Kingdom, the era in which the pyramids were built; the Middle Kingdom, an era marked by the great expansion of Egyptian trade; and the New Kingdom, which saw a revitalized Egyptian empire stretching into Nubia in the south and the Levant in the north. Throughout the history of Egypt, its governmental structure remained largely the same, ruled by dynasties of pharaohs throughout its history.
The pharaoh was thought to be an incarnation of the god Horus, and as such had complete and absolute authority over his kingdom, however presided over a large bureaucracy, something which was necessary to control Egypt.
The social structure of Egypt was defined by a high degree of stratification. Classes remained very separate. At the top of society were the pharaohs and the government officials. Below them stood the craftsmen, merchants, and others. Below them, at the bottom of society, which with a much lower standard of living than the others, were the common farmers. Egypt was a civilization that held many achievements with regard to key theme 6. They developed 3 systems of writing: hieroglyphics, a difficult and complex form of picture writing, used primarily on monuments and religious texts; demotic, used in legal writing and literature; and hieratic, a less complex system used primarily in religious writings. The Egyptians also had a solid, if merely practical, knowledge of math and geometry, but were highly skilled in medicine. The ancient Egyptians were masters of anatomy, and could cure many illnesses and treat many injuries. In fact, their advances formed the basis of later medicine. Egypt, like Sumer, was a vibrant culture whose society reflects many key themes, namely, key themes 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7. We see key theme 2 in the great trading empires of the Middle Kingdom, 3 in the unlimited power of the pharaoh, key theme 4 in the wealth of the powerful and the relative poverty of the common farmers, and key theme 6 in the writing, math, and medicine of Egypt. And also we see 7 in the perceived Divinity of the Pharaoh. China is a civilization whose culture has endured, remaining largely unchanged for thousands of years. Ancient China arose in the Yangtze and Yellow River valleys, making use of the fertile silts deposited by their annual flooding. Throughout Big Era III, China was ruled by dynasties of emperors, the earliest of which was the Shang dynasty, which ruled from 1766 BC to about 1000 BC before being overrun by invaders. The Zhou Empire, the invaders that conquered the Shang, were worried about the cultural identity of the people would cause the people to consider their rule illegitimate. So they introduced a revolutionary concept to China, that of the Mandate of Heaven. Now, so what the Zhou did when they conquered the Shang Empire was they introduced this concept of the Mandate of Heaven. And what that said was, if the gods in heaven give an emperor or dynasty a right to rule as long as they rule fairly. And if an emperor is cruel and governs in a way that harms the people, the gods will strike you down. Now, the Zhou told the people that the Shang had reached this point, and thus the gods had decided that they be taken from power and be replaced with none other than the Zhou. They introduced Key Theme 7 to the Chinese government. The Zhou also made a great advancement with regard to Key Theme 6. They developed the use of iron. Prior to this, bronze had been the chief metal used in China. However, iron was much cheaper and easier to make, which thus greatly boosted China's economy. Iron was also a metal much better suited to battle than bronze, and it greatly strengthened armies. All of these civilizations were incredibly complex, with unique, vibrant cultures, and each were responsible for brilliant technological achievements. The ancient cultures of Egypt, ancient China, and Sumer continue to influence our lives today. Thank you for watching.